time travel, robots, Skynet, it's all good. NERDSoul. Lady Ill Kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. That's right, we bring it together, geek and hip hop, for another wonderful episode. And this time, a special episode of On Screen. That's right, we talk about live action here. And today, we've got some special guests. In spirit, we're gonna give a shout out to Paramount Pictures because they're giving me a chance to check out some stuff that I'm gonna show y'all in a second. And also a big shout out, of course, to Slice of Sci-Fi. You can get your TV news, your movie news, and all that jazz, plus interviews and cool stuff for the sci-fi fan and you. Now, what is Paramount and Slice of Sci-Fi and NERDSoul doing together? Well, we are combining to give you this. That's right, a cool review of the 4K Ultra HD version of Terminator Genisys. Now, I know you're probably saying, yo man, Terminator Genisys, it came out in 2015. Why are we getting the 4K now? Yeah, it takes a while, but look, the 4K is actually worth it, and I'm gonna get into it right about now. You see, this isn't really as much a review on the movie as it is for the nice little package that we get in this new release, or new-ish old release, something like that. See, Paramount is dropping this. It's the 4K Ultra HD. It has like HDR and all these beautiful colors. We're gonna get into that in a second, but it also has a ton of special features. And someone like me that enjoyed the film Terminator Genisys, I have the digital version. And the digital version, at least I didn't get any of the special features. So I'm gonna be getting into the special features, how it looks, the quality, and all that jazz. So let's start out with HDR. Now, really quick for those guys that don't know, HDR stands for high dynamic range. And in pictures, it can be good, it can be bad. Sometimes you have a situation where it's like overly exposed or overly contrasted or something like that. But in this version of the 4K, it just makes the shots more real or more photorealistic or more natural to the eye. I kind of watched a little bit of my digital version, which is just regular, not 4K. And I watched this version too with the 4K, with the, HDR, to see what was the difference when it comes to things like fire or the laser, the laser beams or whatever, or the Terminator's faces, the endoskeletons and all that, and to see if there was a huge difference. And you do get this kind of very vibrant, almost like jumping off the screen at you type of look, because of course it's 4K as opposed to the digital, which is 1080p. And then also the way these colors are so vibrant, without being overly contrasted, even though, it can be when it comes to really lights and really darks. But the cool thing is that the darks are super dark. Like when it's nighttime, it's night. And then, of course, when fire is blazing, explosions, they're jumping off the screen at you. And one of those jumping off the screen parts, which I really enjoyed in this movie, was the kind of like the all-out assault, the future war, which they call it, where they're kind of like going at the work camp. It's guns ablazing, there's people all over the place. The little, like the spider tank droids are like dropping down and shooting at people. You got the, just endoskeletons everywhere. The T-800s are going crazy. The people are dropping like flies. That's where this HDR really shines. When it comes to like the daytime shots, it's kind of normal, so I won't really touch on that, but with the effect shots, it really comes through. So like the war, or the kind of like the big battle at the beginning, also the part where you have the acid dripping on the T-1000, it really looks just crazy to see him dripping apart as opposed to like the digital version and the HDR version. So I thought that was really cool. And it's pieces like that inside of this movie, in this release, the 4K Ultra HD, that almost makes it seem like you're seeing it fresh. And I mean, of course, I've seen the movie before, so I know the basic beats, but there are certain parts that, due to 4K and due to HDR, that you pick out small things that you might not have noticed on the big screen or might not have noticed on the digital, copy that I have. Because in the digital copy, when you have it at the home, you're watching it while you're drawing, or watching it while you're doing work, or watching it while you're on the computer. So it actually sucks you in a little bit more because it's so just visually appealing as opposed to the digital. Now, not hating on my digital copy. My digital copy gets the job done, but I'm just saying 4K with HDR, I mean, 1080 versus 4K, I mean, it's really no contest. Now, I have a lot of stuff to get to next, of course, with the special features, because that's where this package, I think, shines and where I think you'll find a lot of value. But of course, first, Cure Brand is gonna help us pay them bills. Oh yeah, check that link below, hats, shirts, hoodies, all that jazz. And once you find something you like, of course, cop it. Now, let's talk about taking the HDR away, the HDR side. We're not even worrying about that no more. I want to talk about the really valuable pieces of knowledge, pieces of just the tedious detail that goes into making this movie that they stuff inside of these special features. And if you're someone who loves Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Rise of Machines, or Salvation, you can get a lot of just enjoyment out of seeing how they put this together, their thought process behind writing it, and also just seeing like the molds and, you know, airbrushing the metal, or I guess the fake metal, or, you know what I'm saying? Just so much stuff that they put into Arnold's face, or Arnold's molds of his head, or the legs, or just even doing the editing and the handling the score and the music. It just really is a joy to have that, to see how much people are putting into this world. Now, out of this, there's tons of kind of like special features based on this and based on that. My favorites are family dynamics, manipulating matter, which is really cool too. And also there's one based on like the clothing and the you know, the outfits and how they put things together and what they had to use to make the little like arm pads. It's just cool to see these finer details that are put into a movie that we consume so fast. We forget that there are like hundreds of people putting together these small details just to make something cool for us to see on screen. And I really love those parts. Also hearing the symphony was great too when putting together the score, and just hearing hearing Hans on some like da-da-da-da-da, that was fun, hearing him going through that over and over again. But there's a lot of value if you're a film nerd, or if you like really love, you know what I'm saying, that Terminator, there's a lot to get out of these special features. Now, if you're not digging special features, or you don't have 4K, you know, you could probably just stick with your digital version. But I think this is something that you could really get into if you're digging them special features, because they don't skimp on this. This is, I won't say this is at the level of like Lucasfilm, you know, during the prequels where they give you like hours and hours. But you get a good amount of special features here. It's probably about an hour and some change in this. There's a good amount of special features, and I think it'll keep you busy and draw you in further to the story. As far as the movie, there are some things that you'll see in my review way back that, you know, I didn't like about the actors or maybe certain parts. But I think this movie is solid, and this gives me a greater appreciation for it. So, should you check it out? Yeah, I think you should definitely check it out. If you don't have 4K, maybe you can just let it slide, but find your way to get your hands on those special features, because they're definitely worth it. Now, before I bounce, I want to give a big shout out, of course, to Paramount Pictures. What up? Thanks for hollering at me and letting me see this 4K edition. And of course, Slice of Sci-Fi. Because from TV news to movie news, interviews, all that stuff, they got your back, man. So if you love sci-fi, you need to be checking them out. So before I bounce, I'm gonna tell you guys to holler at me. I'm gonna holler at you down in them comments. Let's talk Terminator Genisys. And if you've seen these special features, let's talk about your favorite parts. What's your favorite special feature? I really like the clothing. It's crazy fresh. So before I bounce, I'm gonna tell you guys to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right, check me out right there. All my videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.ThatNERDSoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt, player. Don't forget to get one for them players. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that Nerd Soul. That's right, there's no better way that I can show people that you like what you are watching. So, LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please be good to yourselves. Please be good to each other. And remember, if it's Genisys, it's Skynet, and if it's Skynet, it's dangerous. Peace.